What is going on, everybody? It is Wednesday afternoon. My name is Jason Krutzky. Thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys are doing well today. The Bears are in hibernation. That's at least what it seems like. Markets are absolutely ripping today. I've got the Qs chart up here. This is just the 1 minute chart, just kind of keeping an eye on things. Insane price action today, especially this whole section right here. I was definitely anticipating, I don't know what I was anticipating. I think I was anticipating them to fail it here. I did not think that this was going to resolve to the upside. I guess I should have taken a look at what's been going on the rest of the day. All of these consolidation areas have definitely resolved to the upside so far today. So should have been the expectation on this one. I expected it to fail, and I got this trade wrong. How are you guys doing today? You guys trading them well? Are you, I don't know, taking any good trades? What are you watching? What are you curious about? I am here for you. I'm here to talk through ideas with you, here to answer any questions that you guys might have about the TrendSpider platform. So hit me with them. Hit me with them. I hope you guys are doing good. I'm going to pop over and see what's going on with SPY, see what's going on with the Qs. Yeah, so everything's kind of looking about the same. SPY, nice flat top kind of consolidation thing right here. Nice breakout, retest. Might be setting up for another little leg higher here. We'll have to see. On the IWM. IWM not as clean. Clearly not as clean. Interestingly, because IWM has kind of led or been a little bit stronger than the other two. And it's kind of not as strong today. So that's interesting to see. Definitely not making a new high here. But it did make a new high just recently. So it's not too far off from the pack. Let's pop over to some big names. What's going on with Tesla? I haven't looked at Tesla today. Tesla coming into a big spot here for a potential, I would say a potential rejection. I think everything's kind of coming into a potential rejection spot. QQQs are as well. Even though we are up and above that anchored VWAP from the March highs, we've got these two highs here, these May highs. We've got these guys that we're going to have to contend with, specifically this guy, this 330 level or so. It's just been trouble before. It could be trouble again. I guess we'll have to wait and see if price gets there. It does look like it kind of wants to find its way there at some point. So not totally, wouldn't be totally unexpected to see that. If we go SPY, kind of similar, a little bit different now coming into these previous highs, these June highs. So maybe we look at this high right here. Let's see if there's any other stuff that we should be kind of mindful of. Anchored VWAP from all-time high puts us at 422.72. So that could potentially be an area of interest. Let me throw up the TW pivot real quick and see where we're at. So TW pivot's not really suggesting that we're getting into oversold or overbought yet. RSI is still looking pretty strong, pretty good, making new highs here on RSI. Let's look at IWM. Yeah, IWM kind of the same spot. We're coming into those June highs. It's gonna be really interesting to see how prices react into those June highs. It's made all of these indices have made a really nice move over the past 5 sessions or so, coming out up and out of this little area here. You'll see it on all of them. Do something real quick, y'all. My music is super loud right now. I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit. So what's up, guys? Nobody's chatting. Where are y'all at? Come say hello. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how your trades have been today. Bitcoin, I believe Bitcoin is coming into a bit of a spot here. No, it wasn't. Let me see. There was something that I was looking at. Maybe it was an hourly. Yeah, I guess it is. I mean, it's kind of looking a little bit similar to some of the indices. Not as progressed, but making its way up and out of these previous highs. So it doesn't look terrible there. Tercero, hola. What's going on, Tercero? How are you today, man? Or ma'am? You doing well? What are you trading today? NerdRX, what's up? Jara, hello from Vancouver, BC. Good to have you here, Jara. Vancouver is an absolutely beautiful place. I love it there. Qs continuing to gain. Here, let's see if we're getting into... Yeah, so we're getting on the 15-minute time frame, getting a sell signal on the TW pivot. Doesn't necessarily mean that... actually, you know what? That sell signal was negated. So never mind. I take that back. Here's a good sell signal. Notice that when I don't know if any of you guys have been using the TW pivot at all, but it's a pretty cool little indicator. You get the sell signal or you get the buy signal. And the thing to note here is this oscillator. As long as this oscillator stays the same, when you get the signal, it'll flip. See here, you get the signal and it flips from green to red or from red to green. As long as it stays, we're good there. So we're gonna kind of keep an eye on this. We do have a sell signal here on the 15-minute time frame. We're gonna want to see this stay, or we're gonna want to see this stay red. See how it's already switched to green? Had this stayed red, that would have been a bit more of a valid signal. Same for this. You get a sell signal here. It flips red and then immediately flips back green. You didn't even get a red oscillator on this one, so that's kind of interesting to see. Just not a very good signal. This one was a decent buy signal. Caught a short-term bottom. Got a little bit of a bump there. This was a great sell signal. You immediately flipped red, went lower, flip red, went lower. Nerd, yeah, you may be right, man. You may be right. What levels are you watching? Do you have your eye on anything in particular? I was kind of keeping my eye on this weekly level on the Qs, kind of in around in here. 324 now that we've gained all of that consolidation, from late May, June. You've got your anchored VWAP all-time high on the Qs. Chilling over here at 335.88, so that could be a level of importance at some point. ETH real strong today, 1665. Kind of setting up similarly to how the Qs and SPY and everything was setting up not too long ago. So it'll be interesting to see if they're able to pop this and get some new daily highs here. Echo, what's up? Does TradingView have the TW pivot indicator? I don't know. I honestly don't know. What's up, Joe? How you doing? Hope you're good. Along with INTC this morning. I mean, if you were long tech this morning, that was a great period, great place to do it. Oh, I love it. Joe, what a great opportunity there, man. Let me look at this daily. Oh, look at that. So clean. They came in and they took out those previous lows. We talk about this sort of stuff all the time. You had your low here, and then they took out the low here, so they kind of did like a stop hunt, liquidity hunt sort of deal. Immediately reversed it, came back to it, and held it. Nice play, Joe. Good job. What's your target on this one, bud? You looking for the gap fill? Somewhere up in here? Or maybe these highs? Not a terrible spot for a little bit of profit taking here off of these highs right here. Doesn't mean it won't go higher. Looks like it's kind of setting up to. You can anchor a VWAP from this near-term high on August 1st. Up and over it now. First time since August 1st. Anchor a VWAP from here too. Yeah, looks pretty good, Joe. Nice. What's up, Lloyd? I'm just reading your message here. Tend to do longer term trades using a combination of technicals to determine entries and exits, but using macro to decide on stocks and ETFs to focus on. That's smart, man. Look at the weekly on the Qs and then go to the daily and then the 4 hour. Yeah, sounds like a really good process. Yeah, this is interesting, Joe. I like this idea a lot, bud. Q's catching maybe a smidge of selling here. Be interesting to see. I really kind of had this feeling that they were going to bring it back into the VWAP today. I wonder if they'll end up doing that, or if they're just going to run it. Lloyd, are you talking about a particular stock? Or a certain stock in particular, or are you just saying in general? Yeah, excuse me. A little tired this morning. What is the news of the day, you guys? What are we thinking about? Pelosi went to Taiwan. That turned out to be a bit of a nothing burger, clearly. Or at least for now. We called this thing bears in hibernation. If you're bearish right now, you're getting crushed. How close do you guys think we are to a capitulation bear event? Where do the bears give up? It's kind of the endless question that I'm always asking myself. Yeah, here we go. Q's kind of catching a little bit of selling here. Ooh. They lost that big level. Interesting. So this might be it. Maybe we get a move back into the VWAP here. That's really what I'm looking for. We had kind of a little flat top here that hasn't really been tested. If we go to a bigger time frame, got a bit of a level. Well, actually, I would love to see them test this again. Absorb a bit of these gains. This would be lovely too, right in here. 317.96. EQ. EQT. EQT Corp. What's the story on this one? Interesting. Kind of looks a bit like a Head and Shoulders type of pattern. They came into these highs here. They kind of faked you out and took it lower. Kind of seems like the level to me that you would need to be up and over for a long opportunity there. So as of right now, you got lower lows, lower highs. Not super bullish there. But if we can kind of gain this, we can make our way and try and make a new high. Because you might also be kind of looking at a bit of like a megaphone pattern, huh? Kind of that. And that. So I think up and over like 46 or so, somewhere there in that world. Up and over 46 probably sends you at least to go test the previous highs around 40, 49, 50. You're already up and over the 50, I believe the 50%. Let me see here. Just going to use a fib. Yeah, so you're up and over the 50%. This is interesting. And you're holding it right now. So yeah, I mean this could be primed for another move. Interesting. Not a bad look. Saying look at the hourly. Yeah, it's a gnarly candle and on volume too, huh? You guys know me. I'm always looking for multiple touches on the same area. So like in here, this is where I would have been looking for them to send it, but it looks like they might be front running it. I guess time will tell. Because they also just kind of they're trying to fill this little gap here too. It's an interesting one, Lloyd. AR, same vibe. Interesting, huh? What does the daily look like on AR? Same, ha, very similar, huh? Except they gained, and well, it is. It's like the exact same look. Interesting. And then tell, is this kind of the same idea too? Slightly different, quite different. Tell, nice pullback into this, you know, this little consolidation area here. I like to see that. So it looks like they tried to gap it down into it and held, and then what they do, they opened, gapped up today, and then closed it. Chewy, you say it's over, huh? What's up, Alan Wu? How's Texas looking today? Gabriel. What's up, Gabriel? Let's look at GME. What's up with GME? I have to admit, I kind of stopped paying attention to GME. Why does my music keep stopping? I'm going to see if I can find something better. Give me 1 second, guys. I just want to improve your viewing experience by getting us some better music here. At least some slightly better music. Let's see what we can do. Yeah, this one. I like this one. We're going to get an ad here for about 5 seconds. Hopefully it works soon. It's weird, dead air. Weird when there's no music playing.
This is your time to build that kit you've always wanted.
All right. We're back. Yeah, so GameStop. What's your idea here, man? Doesn't look terrible. Doesn't look great. Think you want to see it over 40. I like that it's made a new high here in July. You held a higher low. If we go anchored VWAP from the May lows here, looks like that guy's holding nice. If we can make a new high above 40, then you're starting to look in here. Anywhere from 44 or so, 42 to 47. It's pretty loose range, but excuse me, that's kind of where you're looking. But this also could be kind of like a fail, since we made a high and they immediately rejected. And see how they're coming back into the previous high right here. Yeah, no, this one's a little tricky. Lots of sideways, huh? It does like to go sideways and rip, though, looks like. Kind of like this area. Like this whole section. Looks really similar to the current price action, right? Kind of hold, and then you go for these highs. So maybe something like that. I'm not sure. Yeah, so nerd, definitely. The dollar index is wildly important here. Relatively strong today. Strong past 2 days. Interesting to see the dollar and stocks moving in tandem. It's kind of a bit of a change of trend. ZIM, Alan, what's up, man? Anchored VWAP from the highs. Excuse me. Gosh, I know ZIM has been a high flyer here. All right, so on the weekly, I really like this about ZIM. You have your swing low here, this guy. Right? Kind of this candle right here. Price came right back into it and held. I like that. That's nice. You made a new low against this one, which put it at exhaustion risk. Took some time to regain it, but now it's regained it. You have a big... Oh, gosh, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm kind of tired today. You have a big fair value gap, if you're into fair value gaps, right here. This whole area is a fair value gap. So if they have, maybe they've got earnings here in a couple of weeks, 2 weeks. If they have a good earnings report, maybe you get a move. Or maybe if they have a terrible earnings report, maybe you get a move. I don't, hard to know these days. This is concerning, though. Anchored VWAP from the IPO is at 55.55. Could be trouble. Could be trouble if price gets back into it. Could pause there, depending on what how price gets there. So definitely something to watch. I did not drink enough coffee today, y'all. Clearly. Qualanta. What's that, man? It's a good IBM. Hey, this is a tricky one. Still quite below the anchored VWAP from the all-time highs. We're just looking at the monthly chart here. Got a pretty decent kind of line in the sand in this area, this 115 area. Kind of bullish above, bearish below. Like a yin-yang or something. Doesn't look bad. I mean, it's just looks like a slow mover, especially lately. Your anchored VWAP from those 1993 lows coming into play a couple of times over the past 2.5 decades. Not a surprise to see that. Let me go to a smaller time frame here. So your near-term high is right here, right? And then you could say the swing low that got you there was here. And so then what have we done since then? You got a lower high and a lower low. So you've taken out both sides of that range. Or actually, I'm sorry, you haven't taken out both sides. You failed the high and you made a new low. So I think that the expectation would ultimately be lower. But when, it's kind of hard to say. So you do have that gap to fill above. But, oh, excuse me. You have previous lows that could come into play too. Between this one, these. I would be a seller on the gap fill if I were long. Because I don't like that it didn't make a new high and it made a new low. That's just my opinion. Chewy. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's got room. It's got room. You've got... Yeah, so we're up and over. This is kind of where we paused. Past 2 days was off of this low. And now, you know, if you're a stratter, you're looking at this high and you're looking there. So like you said, yeah, 329, 325. Definitely levels to be watching. And then below, take your anchor VWAP from the relative lows here. And that to me doesn't tell us a whole heck of a lot. What I'm kind of more looking at is this area. And that aligns with your March anchored VWAP that we've just found our way out of. And also we broke out of this and haven't really tested it. And it could be anywhere in here. It could be this high. It could be through here. But, you know, if you've been on the show, or you guys, if you've tuned in, you know, been talking about this for weeks. You know, we fail, we gain, and we come back and we test, and then we go higher. So we've gained, and now, you know, you'd kind of think that we might come back in at some point. Don't know when. Amazon. Paul, what's up, man? Hope you're good. Yeah, this surprised me. This I was not expecting today. This is part of why I came into the day bearish on the Qs, was Amazon. Because I did not think this was going to resolve to the upside. I could tell you that. I did not expect that. I expected this to resolve down. And they did not do it. I imagine that maybe most people suspected that this would resolve down, which is why it resolved up. That's some 4D chess from the market makers on Amazon. Excuse me. But I think at some point we got to come back. You know, when, who knows? But I think we got to come back into this. And I think this would present a decent buying opportunity, 125. Yeah, but what's the top, nerd? You know, like what's the top? We don't really know. You got your anchored VWAP from, is this all-time high? Is this all-time? I think this is all-time high monthly. You still got a ways. I think it's still got room. It's still got room to go higher for sure. They held it right where they needed to, right off of these previous highs. I mean, super clean. But short term, I mean, near term, you know, they are definitely making lower lows, definitely making lower highs. See, I almost really got to see them come in and gain like this stuff in here. But it's got room. Remember, it's going to take all of the bears going into hibernation. It's going to take every last bear going into hibernation. And the second that happens, that's when markets will go lower. As long as there are bears out there, markets are going higher. As long as there's somebody to sell puts to, markets are going to go higher. Zoom. Yeah, Zoom coming into definitely an area of interest here. That 116 level was in a level that I had an eye on. Go highs, December 2021 highs, anchored VWAP. Kind of gets you up into there too, 120. 116 to 120, definitely an area to watch for a potential rejection. Kind of where I'd have my stops or where I'd have my targets if I were long. One of my buddies, best trader I know, Mr. Bread 911. He had a great trade on Zoom over the past couple of days. Really nailed it. He tends to, though. What's SOFI? Jose, how's it going, man? SOFI, what a ripper. Ding. Gain these highs too. Nice. Not much stopping it to $9. One good day does not a trend make, though. So let's not forget that. You know, this is definitely an exciting day for bulls on SoFi. Did they have earnings today or something? Yeah, they did. Yeah, so I mean, $9 to $10, I think, is a pretty decent target. What I'd love to see on SoFi would be kind of a pullback and refill the shorts, because shorts just got took out. So if they were to pull this thing back in, get shorts to reload, maybe fill this gap or get close. Don't know that that's going to happen. But would be nice to see for somebody who wanted to get long. If you're already long, then my kind of thinking, again, always looking for places where there are lots of candles, lots of wicks, lots of bodies. And the first place that I see is kind of up here. You got a gap, a gap here. Might be some profit taking into those gap fills, pending they come. This one obviously trying to get there right now. They're failing right at the top, at the bottom of it. But there's a little gap there. Also with something like this, what I would sometimes do is, let's see if I can find it. Gosh, my vision is so bad. All right, that's not what I'm looking for. Let me throw up volume by price real quick. I would do this. I would anchor from the highs. Yeah, and you can see there's a bit of a little a volume shelf. You're coming into an area where there's less volume, and then you got a bit of a volume shelf here. Let me also do this, switch it to 25 or 50. I like to put 50 columns on my volume by price just to get a little bit more granular of a breakdown. Yeah, you can see there's a bit of a little volume shelf right into that 9.5, 9:30 to 10 area. So I would expect a little bit of selling in there. Chewy, does it feel like FOMO yet? I don't think so. I don't personally think so. I think we got to go higher for FOMO, for like real FOMO. That's definitely where I messed up today. Like I really was on the bearish side, and I've been getting my butt handed to me. I don't think everybody's long, Rogue. That's the thing, is I think there's still plenty of people out there trying to short this. Now, I don't know anything about Euro USD. I have to be honest with you. But came to a nice spot. I had a line drawn there. That's interesting. I mean, look at the little breakout that we haven't come back and tested, and we just tested it. That's cool. Could definitely go lower, though. But it's kind of at exhaustion risk, I think. Did make a lower high. GNRC. I don't know much about GNRC. Never even heard of it. Yo. Bear attack now, earnings. I mean, maybe bear attack. I don't know. Yeah, that's not really what you want to see if you're bullish on this thing, huh? Right into that anchored VWAP from those November highs. Looks like that's the all-time high. Fail, fail, fail. Fail here too. It's interesting. To me, kind of would have expected a lower low here, right? But they didn't get it. They held it. So they went back and tested this high. And now they're failing it. I would, at this point, unless they're able to gain this high, which it kind of doesn't appear like they're going to do, I would expect new lows. You got a gap right here, 185.51. You got a gap right here, 145.50. And this thing has made a heck of a move. Huh. So from your swing low, that took you up to the move. Look where we're pausing right now. At anchored VWAP. What did they do here? They just barely took out this swing low. Oh, man. We talk about this stuff all the time. Look at them. Hunting liquidity. Taking out all the stops below that swing low and turning it back. Yeah, I don't know. This doesn't look that bullish to me. Earnings were good. Huh. Generators. Hurricane trade. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough call. Because the technicals are tricky because you are making lower highs, but you did hold a higher low. So I don't know, maybe they want to come back and test these lows again. Because they kind of tested this already. You know, you had these highs here, they broke out, retested. Maybe they try and hold in here somewhere. 237. Maybe they try and take out this low and then turn it back. I don't know. Kind of have to play it by ear. But the setup as it is doesn't seem very bullish to me. Even if the fundamentals are there. I mean, like, what caused this thing to go since April 2020? What caused this thing to 10x? Was up 1% in pre-market. Wow. They tricked you, huh? Was that ahead of the earnings? I mean, this could be guidance too. You know, maybe something with the guidance. People didn't like what they heard. Excuse me. Let me do this and just kind of see where we're at. Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't love it. Anyone have any thoughts on WBD? Warner Bros. Huh. Oh, is this I remember this stock. Yeah. Yeah, this one, I don't know. This one's pretty tricky. I mean, we could pull an anchored view out from here and just kind of see. That's not really accurate. Pull one from here and see. It's a little bit more accurate. They got earnings when? Had they already had them? Oh no, tomorrow. It's coming into these lows here that we lost. So it's definitely lagging kind of the indices. Indices are all getting into this area now. Either they're trading just at it or just in it or just above it. I would anticipate personally, I don't know anything about this name. It doesn't look very strong, right? Looks like anytime it rallies, that's an opportunity to sell. I would anticipate there's probably some sellers. We can kind of see. Let's go from these April highs here. Yeah, so look at you've got your VWAP. Let me just remove this. Let me go VWAP from here. You've got your VWAP from April highs. You can see where all those buyers are from April. You see that volume shelf. Now, clearly, there's more buyers down here at 14.5 than there were up here at 17. It's just your average buyer from these highs up here is in at about 17.5 bucks. And so you anticipate your average buyer to sell when price gets back there. Simply because they've seen this thing, especially if they started buying at $25 or something like that. Maybe they've averaged down, but they're seeing this thing come back into their average. And they're like, ooh, finally, I'm not losing on this stupid trade anymore. Yeah, I don't know. Earnings is a crapshoot. You got earnings tomorrow too. Hard to know. You're hoping it retests the 1277 or sub 10. Excuse me. 1277. Not really seeing what you're seeing on 1277. Maybe. No, it's not really. I'm not really sure, man. But yeah, it doesn't look great. That's how I would feel about it. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe they'll surprise. Maybe they won't. Wait and see, Wait and see. Play it afterwards is where my head would be at. Keeping an eye on the indices over here. Qs. Testing that breakout spot again. Now maybe we get a move. Now that nobody's paying attention, everybody thinks this thing's just long and strong. What's SPY looking like? SPY, same spot. Testing that breakout spot again. And then let's check IWM. IWM looking the kind of the best of the bunch. Maybe not. I don't know. RKT. Been hearing a lot about this. Insider's been buying, right? If we grab the, let me grab this. Yeah, look at this. Matthew Rizek. He's the director. He's a director. Jay Farner, also a director. These guys have been going trade for trade. Mr. Farner is a bit bigger of a swinger than Mr. Rizek, to the tune of about 1,000x the amount of shares, or 1,000x the amount of shares. 20K a day, 200K a day, every day since March, since the end of March. Jay started it off, looked like 200K a day, every day, every day, every day. Wow. Jay Farner is not messing around. This is one of the strongest looking insider buying sprees I've ever seen. Let's go to the weekly and see what's up here. These guys are bullish on their mortgage company. I mean, I have to admit, this chart is not wildly appealing. Anchored VWAP from IPO puts you at $20, $21. We look for tests of the anchored VWAP and failures. The closest thing we get is this candle right here. So we measure again. Then we get this candle right here. We measure again. So if you're using anchored VWAPs, you might want to look at that 1172 level as a level of interest. That would align, right? You've got these highs here. Got highs and lows, really. You've kind of got a bit of a, just a level that price has been fluctuating around. It was lows, lows, and then came back in and tested. If earnings are good, I mean, this thing's been tested quite a bit, both directions. You get a little bit of a reaction here, and then maybe you could continue to push higher and then test this high, which aligns with, of course, this anchored VWAP here. I don't know. I mean, you know, the old saying is insiders sell for all kinds of reasons, but they only buy for one, right? Alan? Why the heck is this guy spending $200K every single day on shares? 30 days a month. He's been doing this all April, all May, all of June, all of July. So 120 days at 200K. What's that get us? It's 24 mil. A cool 24 mil. If his average, I mean, if he's DCAing from essentially from about here, $9. Let's see what the average is from the beginning of April. I was kind of curious what approximately what his average is. So his average is probably about 878. So 24 mil divided by 878. That means he owns 2.73 million shares. What's the float? Does anybody know the float on this? I guess I could look it up. Shares 118.54 million. So he owns like 1.5%, or he in the past 3 months he's bought like 1.5% of the company essentially. It does make sense to follow. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong about that. The question is, or the idea though is, you know, buying at the right time. Is this the right time? I don't know. It's really hard to say. Coming into earnings, so it's a long shot, or it's a crapshoot. I think with earnings. Earnings could be, as you guys know, earnings could be bad and the thing rips. Earnings could be great and the thing tanks. You just never really know. Tesla. Yeah, we kind of looked at Tesla briefly. I mean, Tesla is coming up into a pretty important area. I'm going to do anchored from the all-time high. So we're up and over the anchored VWAP from the all-time high. Again, as I always say, looking for wicks, bodies, closing around the same area, and I see this. You know, you got some support here, some resistance here, some support here, resistance here, support. And it kind of failed here, but it didn't really get there. So if we go higher, my expectation would be this 971 level might be a level of interest. If you're at 971, maybe psychological 1,000 makes some sense. Doesn't necessarily have to, but it could. It is a bit extended, in my opinion. I mean, I think a lot of tech is kind of extended here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a pullback at some point in the coming sessions. But who knows, man? Who knows? Again, if there are puts being bought en masse, then they're going to keep ripping this thing higher. A lot of people would probably be looking at, let's do this. Let me go to the weekly. It's not quite what I was looking for. Yeah, it is what I was looking for. This bad boy. It's a ways off, but could certainly come. 1,078 would make sense to come in and test this high here. Hadn't done that yet. So I don't know. I would say like medium term, I'm more bullish. But shorter term, I'm looking for pullbacks. That's kind of where my head's at on things. But, you know, that bit me today, so take it for what it is, right? Sonia, I'm not sure what you're asking here. How to find exact targets, no need to know any technicals. You're saying you can teach me how to do that? You're saying you can give exact targets without knowing anything about the company background or technicals? So no fundamentals or technicals, but you want exact targets? Is that what you're asking? That seems pretty impossible. I don't know how you're going to make any sort of decisions on where price should go without some understanding of one of those two things. Because if you're not using technicals and you're not using fundamentals, then what are you doing? You're just guessing a number? Because if you're not using technicals, that implies you're not looking at a chart. Edward, Magic 8 Ball. Yep. Popping back over to the Qs here. Just want to keep an eye on the indices here into the end of the day. NASDAQ to 10,950. I mean, I'm not saying that it can't be done, but I just don't know how you're making the determination that that any price is going to come without knowing something about where it's been, which would then imply that you're at least looking at technicals. So you're saying it's going to take out these it's going to test the November 2020 low, is what you're saying? Do you have a time frame for when this is going to happen? I've got a friend who never uses diagonal lines other than to gauge time. So like if he's looking at options contracts, he uses diagonals to gauge where he should be, where to anticipate price at a certain level. Sonia, show us. I want to know. Share it with the gang. You can't make a claim like this and not share it with us. If you've got the golden goose there, it's polite to share. Some people are into using astrology. Maybe we'll add an astrology indicator. The moon is in Taurus. Virgo is rising. The Qs are going to rip. when it's a full moon. When it's a full moon, and I don't know. I believe you, Sonia, but you have to show us. You have to prove it. What's up, YouTube 909? Maybe they just hold it up in this range for the rest of the day. No astrology. Okay, we've whittled that down. Did anybody tune in for the space yesterday? We had a number of good ideas. I really liked this Olaplex idea that J Money gave us, and it really gave a really nice opportunity today. Even though he was going to get out, his stop loss was at, I believe it was at the swing low, like $16.50. So he might have gotten stopped out today, but man, they brought it right back to where it broke out. And that gave it gave almost 2 points, $2 from those lows, 1570 to 1730. Monster move. September monthlies went like 40%, I think, on that move. And then what else? Avaya had a big move today. Looks like it's since sold off, but yeah, the open. Look at this open. From 83 to 92, 10 cents. It's like a 12%, 11%, something like that. Really nice call from Mr. Ryan Rigg. What else? Ford Karma had targets of, I think, about $16 on it. And it tagged that anchored high, or that anchored VWAP from the highs here in January. Tagged it and sold off. So had a nice move on it too. It gave like 50 cents on the open. PRVA, this was another one from Jay. Now he caught it yesterday. He was long from the previous day. So he captured this whole move, but we did get the secondary move that he suggested was going to come up to about 39.5. AbbVie looks like it's trying to reject. This trade has not become actionable yet. I believe we were looking for a retest that 136 level. Sure, Sonia. Dow target 315.73.6. We'll see if it gets there. Xander, what's up, man? Hope you're doing good. J&J short. Holding higher lows on the daily. Let me look at a bigger time frame here. Yeah, I hate price action that looks like this. So the higher lows I like, the lower highs I don't, right? You do have this little fair value gap here. Let me just add that real quick. I think I already have this up on my chart. Yeah, I do. That's the small one, I guess. That's a really small one. Well, all right. So I'll just show you this. So you got a spot there that they could come back to at some point. Kind of same as how they held this swing low here. They're kind of doing the same thing on the daily time frame here. So I think kind of where my head would be at is I would be not interested in a long below 171.5. And I would use that kind of as my line in the sand. Not a ton of meat on the bone, I don't think. Just because I would be taking profit around 180, 181 if it got there. Which it could. You know, there are some things like I don't know too much about this name, how it trades. But you've got the monkeypox thing is a thing now, right? We're hearing a bit more about that, and it's coming around more often. So I don't know, some of these companies that work in the vaccine space might get a pump from that. I don't really know. Sonia, you're saying you're going to teach me a different way to read the chart, but if you're not using technicals, you're not looking at charts, right? So you are looking at charts. If you're looking at charts, then you're using technicals. Let's look at shop real quick. Yeah, shop kind of doing the thing. Making new highs today. Looks good. Nice base. Nice base. Coming in an anchored VWAP from your March highs, though. So be prepared for that. Coming into the lows that we lost as well. Tricky because the base looks good, you know? I mean, it's been basing for 2 months and now it's breaking up and out of it. So coming into where it held previously. But I don't hate it. We go to a bigger time frame. Yeah. Doesn't look bad. Netflix. Kind of similar to shop, huh? Yeah, we talked about this on Monday. The big thing that kind of worries me about Netflix are these lows here. We just sliced right through them like butter. No problem at all. Did not pass go. We just went straight to jail, right? So this 255-ish level, I mean, it could even be 266, I don't know, somewhere in here. This area was really important in 2018 and in 2019, and we just right through it. So I think if we find our way back into that 255 area, that is a primo place to consider a short opportunity. Might take some time to play out, but at the very least, some sort of reaction there and some sort of pullback, maybe into here, 200 to 210, somewhere thereabouts. Something like that. Be a pretty sweet little move if you got it, if you got some sort of rejection. Into that 250 and bring it back to 200 and then gain it. Q's making new daily highs here. So strong. So strong. Edward, I have not done any Wyckoff cycle charting. Should I? I'd be curious to know about it. Anywhere, any like resources you would recommend that I check out, Edward? I need to grab something off my screen real quick. Sorry, guys. Don't mind me. Yeah, I don't know. I need to check that out because it probably is something that I should learn. Wyckoff 2.0. Cool. Yeah, no, I mean, like different stages. I know about that sort of thing. There are some people that say there really are only like 3 stages, right? There's accumulation, there's distribution, and then there's trending. There's the move in between, right? It's knowing what is what at any given time. For example, this move today on the Qs, specifically right here. You know, I thought that that was distribution. I thought that they were going to take this thing and bring it back in. They did not do that. Resolved to the upside. So it was actually accumulation. Right? Like, hard to know exactly what things are until after the fact. All right, Paul, have a great rest of your day, man. Thank you for being here. Always a pleasure to see you. What's up, Eric? Eric, well, we had relatively reasonable reason to expect price stalling around in here. And this is it. You know, kind of these lows here. It could still stall here, by the way. Harmonic. And we can see this has been a level of interest in the past as well. But just a little bit early on it. 325 probably in the cards, I would expect. 329 also probably in the cards. And you've got gaps up here too. You've got gaps at 348. You've got gaps at 360. You know, the question is at what point does everybody get in and say, we're going higher? Like with Apple. Apple's getting into territory that's like, it could have a run at all-time high soon. It's coming into a really, really important high here. But looks like we gained it today. Now, was this a liquidity hunt? Could be. So let me go back to the daily. Because again, we talk about that sort of stuff all the time, right? We see it happen all the time. They very, very lightly juke out those highs. You know you got a bunch of shorts who have stops above that high. And so you make new highs just above it and then reverse it. So you take out all those stops. So it could have been what they did today on Apple. We won't know until, well, you know, tomorrow, day after, day after. But there's really not much keeping us from damn near the all-time highs here if we can gain this. At least like 180. I mean, what's the market going to say? What does the average market participant say if Apple goes for all-time highs over the next couple of weeks? Bear market over? I'm already hearing people say it. I mean, we were talking about it. SNBR short is putting you to sleep. Huh. Oh, what a spot though, man. That's a great spot. That's a great spot to try a short. A big move off earnings. Excuse me. I'm just so sleepy today, yo. Killing myself over here. I'm sorry that I keep yawning in front of all you guys. Cool idea. I like it. When did you get into this, Edward? They're contagious, man. What did Jim Cramer say? Did he say something today? That guy always ruining things. Hopefully he said, I don't know, hopefully he said something quite bearish today. Coming into the last few minutes of the session here. Q's definitely holding in the range. SPY holding. IWM also holding. We want to really keep our eye on the dollar here, guys. Held where it needed to. For now. Q's new daily high. Oh, never mind. Almost new daily high. Wild. So does anybody here have any questions about anything TrendSpider related? Curious how to use any of the tools? Anything you'd like to talk about? Platform specific, I mean. Xander, I do. Heat maps jive pretty nicely with kind of my style of trading. I like the horizontal ones the most. I definitely think that they make the most sense. They're the easiest ones for me to kind of All right, Sonia. It's not that I don't believe you. I'm just saying, like, I want to understand how you're coming up with these targets if you're not looking at charts and if you're not talking about fundamentals. That's all. I don't not believe you. I'm just kind of curious about how you come up with targets. Yeah, so what the horizontal ones do, they're looking for price consolidation. They're looking for price making the same highs or the same lows over a period of candles. When it finds that consolidation, it plots a heat map around it. It's essentially like discovering levels for you. And you can kind of see like where it's finding them right now in pretty pivotal areas. Kind of jives with this area we've been talking about, the 330 up there. Could catch a little bit of resistance. Now, the thing to keep in mind is that the brighter, the bolder the heat map, the more powerful it may be. So the more it can impact price. The duller the heat map, the less powerful it may be. So this little heat map area that this thing has found from back in June of last year, it came into play initially. But as time has gone on, will it come into play now? This area was tested here. It was tested kind of in here. So I don't know. We'll see. It could come into play, though. More powerful areas that haven't really been tested yet. Up here. 360. 369. Excuse me. Gosh. Sorry, guys. Edward, right on. You've been following on Twitter for some time, but just now getting into the platform. Well, are you a user now, or are you just kind of like interested in it? Because let me hook you up. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Well, Edward, it's your lucky day, bro. Here's 25% off. So use that link when you sign up. Use that link. Get your 25% off the plan of your choice. Feel free to hit me with any questions as you're getting yourself situated on the platform. Happy to help with anything you're curious about. While we're giving out links, let me hook you guys up with some other stuff. We have a Discord. We just opened it. Here's a link to that. Come hang out with the rest of the TrendSpider gang. All of the guys, most of the guys of the company are there, hanging out throughout the day and talking shop, answering questions, what have you. And it's just a great place to get to know other TrendSpider users, share scans and that sort of stuff. You know, talk shop. And I think that's really it. That's what I got for you. Yep, that's what I got for you. Dang, Eric, the moneymaker over here. We need to let Eric manage all of our accounts. What you got next? What's the next one? What's the next Bitcoin at 250? Hit me with it. What you got? But yeah, Xander. Anyway, getting back to heat maps. Like I say, I like the horizontal ones. The other ones are cool for sure, but they're just harder. In my opinion, they're a little bit harder to read. So if you are a horizontal levels type of trader, excuse me, they are a cool way of seeing, of maybe finding levels. If you're having difficulty finding levels, they can be a good tool that you can utilize to do that. A lot of people ask for horizontal levels, and horizontal levels are incredibly difficult to automatically draw, which is why most of the lines that come up when you turn on your auto trends are gonna, for the most part, they're gonna be diagonal, even if only a little bit. Like this one is a nice little horizontal level. But for the most part, they're going to be diagonal because price tends not to move in a straight line. So this is the tool that we have that kind of replicates it. Vertical ones. You just mean like depth or trends? So the way that depth works, depth is kind of like it uses a couple of different sources of data, and it kind of projects out where price has essentially the path of least resistance for price. So where can price go relatively easily? Anywhere that is the same color as the background of your chart, that's where price could float relatively freely without coming into any support or resistance. Anywhere that's red should act as support or resistance. The brighter, the bolder the red, the more powerful that area may be. So it's just giving us kind of a basic projection of where price can go relatively easily without coming into any support or resistance. If you see price in an area of black, well then, you know, what that's kind of saying is, hey, the price can float relatively freely around here. If it's coming into an area of red, you would anticipate maybe that area act as support or act as resistance, depending on where price is coming, what direction price is coming from. We got our close, 322.83 on the Qs there. Did not close high a day. Sold off a little bit. And then this view, the trend lines view, this is an aggregate view of all of our trend lines. So when you turn on the auto trends, you're usually going to see a handful of lines. But if you switch the view from unfiltered, or rather from most relevant to all unfiltered, you get something that looks like this. This is every trend line that the platform is able to find on this particular time frame. You can see there's hundreds of them here. So what they do, or what the trend lines heat map does, is it takes this view of all of these trend lines, turns it into a heat map. So if we go back to the heat map, you'll see it kind of makes more sense after you've seen it. Yeah. So lots of different trend lines. And essentially what this is just saying is we're coming into an area where there aren't really that many trend lines. So when there aren't that many trend lines, price can again float relatively freely. So we're up and over this kind of, you know, the darker red means more powerful areas of potential support or resistance. In this particular view, a darker red area would be created by multiple trend lines all crossing the same point. The duller the red, the less powerful. So the trend line is interacting with other ones. So you can see where trend lines cross and interact, it's darker red. When the trend line isn't interacting with others, it's duller red. The thing to keep in mind is, multiple time frames. Different time frames are going to tell you different things. They're going to show you different things. So important to always keep that in mind when you're using this. For sure, man. So you're saying algo, huh? Algo Rand? Let's look at algo. Ooh, I don't want to use this chart. Let's use this one. Much better. Kind of holding where you wanted to. Crazy this thing was. I remember when this thing was trading $3. Wow. 30 cents. What was its low? 28, huh? So, and it's at 34 now. Yeah, I mean, higher lows, higher highs, at least in the near term. You're looking for this next, up in here. 42.5 cents, give or take, thereabouts. Excuse me. Sorry. Yeah, but holding where it needs to, for sure. Holding where you'd want it to, at the very least. That 30-cent area seems pretty important. Was this one, did this one ever trade at like 0.0000006 cents? Or did it kind of like ICO at a high price? Let me see if there's any other. Let's look at Binance. Sometimes different if you guys are trading crypto, different exchanges are going to have different sets of data because the coins came online on different exchanges at different times. So always something to be mindful of. Cello. I remember Cello, Xander. Yo, is this it? Dang, it's bucking some trends, ain't it? Oh, this can't be right. Yeah. Oh, okay. Never mind. Q's kind of selling off here after hours. So they're giving the move. I guess options close out in what, 9 minutes? Anything interesting? Anything anything out of the ordinary going on? I guess I could be looking, huh? Let's look and see. Just looking to see if there's anything with quite a bit of volume. Oh, no. Let's add some things here. So one thing that I like to do whenever I'm scanning, I like to add minimums. Minimums can be all kinds of different things. Whatever makes sense for you, but it's just minimum requirements for me to be interested in a trade. So it could be price. I like to define price. I like to define volume. So above $10, above 1 million shares traded per day. I'm just looking for above average volume, 2x average volume on the hourly. ASO. Did they have earnings today? No, they did not. Always kind of curious what comes up on after hours volume scans. Melly jumped after hours. Let's take a look at Melly. Mercado Libre. Earnings. Big gap. Via. Kind of into a similar spot as the Qs, huh? Those previous weekly lows coming in. Right in there. Up and over the anchored VWAP from those March highs. PLTK. Crocs. Crocs into earnings tomorrow. Ripper. Managed to get above those swing highs there. Zoom Info. Also taking out swing highs. Looks like I had earnings a couple days ago. That's an interesting little setup. Another setup that I found today that I thought was interesting was DocuSign. I got the alert on this break. Pretty clean. Maybe we got to move back into it in the next day or two. So I'm going to reset up this alert because it was a breakthrough alert. So I'm going to change it to a touch bounce. I'm going to tighten up the sensitivity there. Ooh, actually, let me turn off extended hours. Yeah, better. And actually, let me go to a smaller time frame too. Let me just pull this back actually too. Sometimes when I set alerts, I do so with the intention of like it's the first part of the move that needs to happen. And then I'll create, once I get a first alert on the first part of the move that I'm looking for, then I'll go in and create a secondary alert on the second part of the move. So first part of the move was breaking up and over. Now we're looking for a retest. So we call it Docu Retest. Trigger a couple times. And now TrendSpider is my eyes and ears on the market. as it always is, as it has been for 2.5 years. LCID. Somebody asked about NEO earlier too, and I'm sorry that I did not get to it. So let's talk about it now, actually. LCID after hours. Ooh. Yoof. They yoofed it. I believe we talked about LCID on Monday. So LCID, let's look at Rivian. Is Rivian feeling this? Yep, Rivian's feeling it a little bit. And I believe Rivian has earnings in a couple of days. So for the kind soul who was asking about Rivian, keep that in mind. LCID got hit. But really, what's it doing? I mean, it's coming back in and testing this consolidation. So, you know, you want to see it hold here. They managed to hold those lows just barely. Let's go back to NEO. And I believe the question was, with everything that's going on with China, are we bullish? Are we willing to be bullish a China name? Well, I don't know. Jake is, I don't know what Jake's thinking on this, what his plan is. But I just know that, you know, it's been a big mover in the past. And so that's kind of where his head's at, I think. Might get a move again. We are still currently trading below anchored VWAP from relative swing high. I think if you're going to trade NEO, you need to know what's going on with China names in general. China names looking like they're trying to find a bottom here. Inside, outside, inside. If we look at Amazon, pretty similar little setup. Not really like the island, but pretty similar little setup. Amazon saw continuation to the upside. You almost wonder if this sees continuation to the downside. I don't know. Not much left to do here. Maybe they could come in and test 25.5. I think we are below the anchored VWAP from these lows. Yep. I also have heard that maybe this could be a catalyst too, for China. You got BABA earnings tomorrow. Looks like it didn't quite get to my target here, $84. Front ran it. But I've heard that, and I don't know this to be true because I don't really track the name, but I've heard that NEO is more tracks Tesla here. And maybe somebody here knows better than I do if that's actually true or not. But if Tesla is coming into some resistance here relatively soon, over the next $75 or so, $1,000 psychological, then you have this big level here at 970, 972. I don't know. Does NEO pause if Tesla pauses? I don't really know. Do they have earnings soon? Also, we could look at XPEV. Yeah, they've got earnings on the 15th. There's a little bit of time there. XPEV looks pretty rough. Actually, XPEV doesn't look pretty rough. XPEV looks okay. Because we're still holding a higher low. Huh. And you had quite a bit of volume here. Kind of an abnormal amount of volume. More volume today on XPEV than we've seen since March. Wonder what that's all about. Let's see if there's any news. FSR, yeah, Edward, FSR is a similar one. Would be a proxy. Macquarie downgrades Xpeng to neutral, $25 price target. That was 6 hours ago. Hong Kong traders shrug off Pelosi-linked Taiwan tensions. JD. Did JD have earnings? No. FSR. Ew. I mean, it's a... FSR looks a little bit better than Lucid. Yeah, that's ugly on Lucid. I would anticipate that Rivian might catch some headwind here. Q's after hours. Maybe they'll finally come into that anchored VWAP here after hours. Today was a heck of a day for the bulls. If you were bullish at the start of today and you played the bullish side, kudos to you. Great job trading. ETH catching a little bit of a hit here. Pretty quiet day today, guys. Have to admit, you guys are being pretty quiet. I'm feeling pretty quiet. Oh, Rashad. Sorry, I missed you. Rashad, what's up, man? Hope you're well. BKKT. Finishing up MasterCard deal. Can't come soon enough because, my God, this looks terrible. I do remember this, though. I remember these days when this thing was pumping like crazy. What's up, Tim? Thanks for being here. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, BKKT looks like your line in the sand right now is kind of like $3.50. Notice this low and then these highs over here. Bullish above, bearish below. So for now, still pretty bearish. But they got earnings. Maybe this deal will work out. Cost. Yeah, wow. What a move off of these lows, huh? These May lows. 400 to 550. I mean, this is obviously an area of importance. That 570 area would anticipate some profit taking there. Took out quite a few pivot lows on the move down. Took out this one. Took out this one. Let me go to the monthly. Yeah, I mean, that's where my head would be at. I'd be looking for a move back to 570. And I would be trying to go short around 570, personally. On the weekly here, you lost the high. Here's your all-time high, and then here's where you lost it. So that kind of sets you up for the expectation that maybe we might go lower. And we did. And we took out this low, and then we took out this low, which essentially sets you up for the expectation that we should bounce. Because we started getting into deeply oversold. We started getting into the move was exaggerated at that point. Once you had took out this low, taken out this low, because this was a primo spot where people would have had stops, where longs would have had stops below this low. So they take it out and then they reverse it back. So yeah, I think if you're long, watch that 570 area. It could be troublesome. Would be my thinking on it. Any last requests from anybody? I'm about to jump out of here. But any last requests, any last questions? No problem, Tim. Going once, going twice. Last questions, comments, concerns. I'm not sure if we're going to be doing this on Friday. So this might be it for the week. But tomorrow, we're doing a live charting show. We're doing a live charting show with Fortune Options. Don't know if you guys follow him on Twitter, @FortuneOptions. But we're going to be sitting down with him tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, right here on YouTube. And he's going to be taking your chart requests. So if you'd like Fortune to kind of take a look at your charts, give you some feedback, what he thinks, how he sees things, please join us. It's going to be fun. We're going to be hanging out. It's going to be a good time. As always, I very much appreciate you guys all being here. It means the world to me. You guys could have been anywhere, but you're here. So I appreciate that, and we at TrendSpider very much appreciate that as well. Last thing before I go, let me get you guys these links so you got them. Qualcomm, we'll take a look at it here in a second. So again, Discord server. If you guys want to join our Discord, there it is. Come hang out. And then for anybody who's not a TrendSpider user, but you're interested in signing up, there's you a 25% discount on the plan of your choice. All right, 9K RPM. We're going to take a real quick look at Qualcomm, and then we're going to jump out of here. Looks like I drew something on here. Yeah, so kind of like what we were just looking at on cost. Kind of the other side of that shoulder. Qualcomm did that. Came into that spot and rejected really nice. Did make some lower lows here. Weekly doesn't look terrible. But since we made new lows, you kind of want to see it hold those. So I might be looking for a small pullback. 136 or so. I guess that's not that small, but excuse me. Yeah, you've got your anchored view out from all-time high. Coming in, acting as resistance right now. Really think you need up and over 158. Kind of failing right where, yep, right kind of where you'd expect it to. Decent reaction. That's holding okay. They just went and took out these little lows. swing low that brought us up. They took them out right here. Yeah, I would kind of anticipate this go a little lower. I think like what we're seeing here is kind of what we'll end up seeing on the indices at some point. I think we're going to see a move back to kind of where we broke out. So, yeah, that's kind of where my head's at. I'd be maybe potentially interested in this somewhere around in that world, the 137 area, something like that. Now, that being said, if you are able to get up and over that 156 and then you come back into it and it holds, then that might be an opportunity too. So that's what I got for you, Henry. Hope that's helpful. All right, y'all, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you again for being here. I do really appreciate it. My name is Jason Krutzky, at Krutzky Trades on Twitter. My Twitter handle is at the bottom of the screen. Feel free to give me a follow. If you ever have any questions about TrendSpider, hit me up. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Join us in the Discord. We answer questions there. You can meet your compadres there as well. And again, we'll be back here tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern with Fortune Options for the live charting show. So until then, hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. Trade them well. Be safe out there. And we'll see you next time. All right. Bye.